So starter has them in the set position, that long starting line. And they are off. The 2019 NCAA Division I Women's Cross Country Championship is underway, and 6,000 meters from finding out who will be crowned individual and team champions. Been a lot of great action throughout the season that has led to this point. I mean, Kevin, you've been in a lot of the races that have led to this point. What are some things that have stood out throughout the fall leading to Terre Haute?
Just how even Arkansas, BYU, and Stanford are. Now, Arkansas has beaten Stanford on a couple of occasions. BYU hasn't raced the Razorbacks, but when you go through the rankings and you look, you can really go runner by runner and see how interesting this matchup is going to be, whether it's the number 1 spot with Whitney Orton for BYU, Fiona O'Keefe for Stanford, or Taylor Werner for Arkansas. Or then you go 2 runners with Izzo, Burke, and Ella Donahue all the way through 5. It's been very, very close. So to see them all finally here, it's going to be an exciting race. And obviously on the individual side of things with Weini Kelati and Alicia Monson.
Yeah, Kelati is on your left. She's kind of working her way through the pack. You see her behind a bunch of the Stanford runners. Alicia Monson actually in the front of that group and a big pack there. Sheila, that first K you talked about a little over the course map a moment ago, but a little bit of a false flat as you go through the first 400 meters until you kind of crest the top and get down the hill. What's it like getting the position here?
It's the longest blur of the race. You do sort of zone out, and there's a lot of people around you, and things haven't separated yet. You're shoulder to shoulder with people. But these top contenders have to make sure they get to the front early so they're not maneuvering after this point, because you're going to be doing some turning after this.
I see Kelati, I see Kurgat, I see Monson, I see BYU's got their runners, Stanford. So a lot of the contenders that we've talked about all seem to be in relatively good position right now. I see Katie Rainsberger of Washington right up there. So positioning for some of these teams starting off in a good spot, at least with some of the front runners that we've keyed off of throughout the morning.
And in the orange, that looked like Joyce Camelli of Auburn taking it out in the early lead. She was second at Prenats, won the South region for the Tigers. And you see Werner there and Izzo in the red for Arkansas asserting themselves there. Again, what a story for Katie Izzo. Comes in as the grad transfer from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo back in the year 2016. And during a cross-country race, she broke her tibia and her fibula, has a titanium rod in her leg, and really has taken off. Coach Lance Harder said he had no idea she was going to be this good. They've kept her on minimal miles, trying to keep her healthy, and it's worked very well for the Razorbacks this year.
So they're coming downhill. They'll make that turn into the 1K. We'll have splits for you today at the 2K and 4K mark. There you see the 1K marker. So just over 3:10, right around 3:10 through the first K. Sheila, pace-wise through the first K on this course, how are they looking?
It's brisk. And they have the advantage of going downhill. And it's also early days. This course, it's very soft today, and sometimes you forget that, and it's going to beat up their legs over time. But they're going at a pace I would have expected.
And I think we've already answered one question about Weini Kelati and what she's going to do. I mean, we know for a fact she's at least waiting a little bit to get her feet wet. She's not going straight from the gun. This is a manageable pace for Weini Kelati. Does that surprise you?
I think she's probably taking a bit of time to warm up into it. She's going to have lots of time at the end of this race to be cold and lonely if she wants to go out and run from the front. So right now she's settling in, and a few of her teammates are kind of right behind her, and I think that's to the advantage of the New Mexico team.
Mentioned Anna Rohr at the top of the show from Notre Dame in the green uniform there, trying to become only the second woman besides Amy Skier as one of the best NCAA cross-country runners of all time in the 90s. To join Amy as only two to have run in the top 10 at this meet in all 4 years of their collegiate careers. So we'll keep an eye out for Anna Rohr there. She is right near Weini Kelati. But I see two BYU up there. I saw a couple Villanova up there towards the front. Sheila's alma mater. Alicia Monson, she looks very smooth and comfortable right now, sitting in about 10th place right next to Edna Kurgat.
And Arkansas in a good position too. You see Werner and Izzo next to each other, and then Clark and Villon just after that. The question for them is going to be their 5. Lauren Gregory entered the season in that spot, had an injury over the summer, delayed her build-up. She's finally come around. They rested her at regionals, but if she can run with Clark and Villon, they're going to be in a great position. And now we have Kelati at the front.
Kelati moves to the front. There you see her. So will this be an injection of pace where this thing starts opening up? It looks like it's starting to spread up front, and a lot of the top contenders now, there's starting to be a break. So Weini Kelati, your NCAA outdoor champion in the 10K, now has the step on the field, so she is making that move. And Sheila, you talked about this as it's a risk, but at this race, it's a risk you got to be willing to take.
And it's a risk that's really paid off for her in the past. So, I'm thinking maybe it doesn't feel that risky for her. I think she probably feels most comfortable out there. If she can get a little daylight between she and the pack, she's only going to feel more confident and more relaxed out there.
And it looks like she almost took the foot off the gas a little bit. You saw it start spreading out, and she started to have a step on Anna Rohr, and now it looks like maybe just off of that pace, and that pack has gone from about 10 or 12 to back to 40 or 50 or so.
This is still very comfortable for her, and I'm sure Monson is content just to sit and wait.
Absolutely. I'm really impressed with how Rohr's running so far, giving chase and making sure that, there's no distance between she and the pack, but it seems like they're kind of coming back together a bit.
We'll be coming up here on the 2K. Right now, they're actually crossing the line, and they're starting to come through. Kelati comes through the line first. 6:37 was the split. Joyce Camelli of Auburn right there. Burke of BYU, Donahue of Stanford, Kurgat, Izzo, Werner, Chimutai from Louisville, Carnian of Furman's in there, Wayment. So BYU's got 2 in the top 10, along with Arkansas. Stanford's got 3 in the top 14 right now. So Fiona O'Keefe is out there crossing the line in 12th. You see the splits on the board. O'Keefe coming in questionable. Coach J.J. Clark said yesterday in the press conference there were some back issues she was going through, and she was going to be a race time decision. So she's out there, and we'll keep an eye on how she pans out as the race goes, but we're looking for her to lead the Stanford team. Right now, early on, BYU with the lead, 83 points. Stanford in second at 107. Arkansas at 108, and then a big jump to 4th place with Wisconsin at 213. Colorado is 5th at 216. So that's your top 5. BYU, Stanford, Arkansas, all in pretty good position right now. BYU with that slight edge.
BYU got out really, really well. Their pack was right up there in the middle, and I think it sets them up well. But it's the game of out well enough but not too well, right, when it comes to your whole pack, and so it'll be fun to watch them over the second half of the race.
So BYU, 3rd, 10th, 18th, 32nd, 41st. So that's their top 5. So almost all 5 in All-American position right now. There's a big drop after that with freshman Davis and their junior Sarah Muselman. They're back in 123rd, 135th, but keep in mind that's only a 6-second gap right now. So they just need to keep their heads up and know to make moves. But right now, BYU first 5 looking pretty strong.
And that's to be expected. I think all these teams, if they do have a weakness, it's that drop-off from 5 to 6. So that's something to keep an eye on throughout the race.
Right now, Arkansas 4 in the top 30, and then 5th and 6th back in 69th and 77th. So that's definitely a little early cause for concern between their 4 and 5. BYU with definitely the tighter pack at the moment, and then Stanford with a great top 3, but then a drop back from 14th, their 3rd runner, Jessica Lawson, Jordan Oakes, and 56 now for number 4.
Such a tight pack, though. A lot of movement.
So
Kelati is getting the benefit. Monson is getting the benefit of staying behind and drafting off Kelati, while at the same time running still a manageable pace. Like, she's not paying any tax for sitting on Weini Kelati's shoulder because this pace is still under control for all of them.
So we're coming up close to 10 minutes into this race. Sheila, with Weini not taking off from the pack at this point, and we're going to be coming up on the halfway point in a moment. Where do you feel like this is going to go? Is she going to make a late move? Is she going to keep it close with the rest of the field here? Or? How do you see it playing out?
If she hasn't made a move in the next K, maybe she's waiting for some of the hills, the rolling hills that come at around 4K, and that's a really good opportunity to burn some people's legs out, and that's what she absolutely needs to do in order to shake some of these girls from her shoulder, especially Monson. I think it's going to be difficult to run anyone's legs off at this point, but you can already see she's doing a little bit of a push now, and they're starting to string out just a bit at the front.
Yeah, you see her having a step now, so maybe putting a little move in here, trying to open things up a little bit.
Remember, last year she waited, and then did eventually make a mid-race move, held the lead into the home stretch, and then Danny Jones came and kicked her down. So the mid-race move in competitive races has usually been Kelati's favorite tactic. It's only been in races like regionals and conference meets where she's gone
big
from the
move
front.
Right here. She just threw in a huge shirt. Let's see how Monson and Burke and the others answer here, but this looks like she's going to test the field a little over halfway through this race. You know, and you mentioned that mid-race move, Kevin. I think Nutty Cone was similar. Monson got the best of her there and ended up beating her by about 9 seconds. But this is a big gap. I mean, Sheila, that gap opened up quick in the last 10, 20 seconds.
It did. It was stark. You could see it, her pace, her turnover, and the girls kind of let her have that space, and it looks like they're maintaining kind of that same gap, and they have the advantage now of kind of working together and keeping her, you know, within shouting distance.
BYU looks really good right now.
Yeah, BYU has 3 in the top 10. You see Whitney Orton there in 3rd. A few spots back is Erica Burke, and then right on her shoulder is Courtney Weymouth, who actually has almost gone by Burke there for a second. That's a key matchup. If BYU wants to win, Weymouth needs to beat the number 3 runners from the other schools, and right now she is running spectacularly.
So there is Weini Kelati with that lead. Her teammate Edna Kurgat, the 2017 champ, actually running really well with that lead group right now. But BYU, their first 3 up front looking good. Arkansas had 2 in that mix. I think number 3 and 4 weren't too far back, and then Stanford with their pack of 3 in that chasing group just outside the top 10 right now. So we're going to get 4K splits here in just a moment. They're coming up on that. But Kelati is really opening things up, and Monson letting her get away here, and we're going to see over the last 2K if she can reel that in. But Kelati looks like she's making a push for home.
And they can't let her get too comfortable. This is her sweet spot. This is where she likes to be, out front by herself. If they're going to have a shot, they need to get back on her. They need to make that connection.
So it's Monson there trying to lead the rest of the group. And again, on that team side, BYU looking really good in that first 3. Arkansas, you see 3 there, right within Stanford's 3. Washington's got a couple. So 4 for Arkansas. So their top 4 looking really strong. BYU, you see another there.
That's Olivia Hoy there.
And then there's 5th. So I think BYU and Arkansas may have their 5th. It's going to be close between those 2.
Stanford's 4 and 5 right in between with Haymack and Oaks.
There's 3 Stanford. So here we go with 4K splits there starting to come through. Kelati 13-14. She's got almost a 6-second lead on Monson. Orton right there. Izzo, Werner. Those are your through 5. Kurgat at 6. Camelli, Burke. And you see those team scores starting to come in. No team has had 5 come in yet. BYU and Arkansas within a couple points through 4. And Arkansas, the first to have 5 in. BYU and Stanford next. So this 89 points unofficially, 98 to BYU. So Stanford making their move over that last 2K to move up into the lead. Stanford behind BYU, 142 points. NC State at 149. So NC State running really well at the moment. And then New Mexico in 5th. Washington dropped back 2 spots from 7th to 9th. Colorado women right now in 11th. Another team we talked about early. The Furman women are sitting in the top 10 position right now. Air Force moved up 7 spots over the last 2K. They're sitting in 7th, right behind Michigan State. So a lot of things shaping up on that team side, but Kelati still pulling away from the field. Monson now trying to have a step on the rest of the group to go close her down. Kevin, have you seen Monson come back with this much gap on Kelati?
Well, she did surge away from her at Nuttycombe, but I don't think the lead ever got this big. So this is truly going to test Alicia Monson's mettle here over the last 1,400 meters. Now, she can do it. She is a closer, but this gap is still significant at this point, and it's holding steady.
Sheila, if you're Monson right now, what are you thinking?
If I were Monson, I would have, I think, maybe made the move a little earlier. That doesn't mean I don't think she can make that up. It's just over 5 seconds I think she needs to make up on Kelati, and it looks like she has picked up the pace a little bit. Unfortunately, Kelati hasn't let up since she made that move. She's kind of held that steady pace through those hills, and she's still going through that 5K mark. So Monson's going to need actually to kind of make a move of her own, to change gears a little bit in order to reel her in.
So will she be able to make up this gap? Almost up on 5K. You can kind of see where the runners are at.
This team race, Ryan, is going to be very, very close between Arkansas and BYU. Just a 9-point margin at 4K. And the difference between Arkansas's number 5 and BYU's number 5 was 12 points. So it's right there for the taking. Both teams have multiple runners in the top 10. But right now it's coming down to that 5th.
Hey, and I got to say, there's no room to slip up. I mean, Stanford in third, a distant third right now. Their 6th runner is ahead of BYU's 5 and not too far off of Arkansas's 5. So Stanford running really strong through 6. NC State with 5 in the top 50. They're having a great showing out there right now. So watch out for the Wolfpack. But Arkansas, BYU, we're going to really have to pay attention on that finish line to see where things shape up. Kelati right now looking really, really strong, trying to improve on that 2nd place finish a year ago. She was the 10K champ on the track. She wants to do it here out on the cross course. Monson, will she keep her from doing it? Monson was 4th last year at her home course in Wisconsin.
Just under 800 meters to go now. Monson isn't now having the benefit of working with anybody. She's had to set off on her own to try to chase down Kelati.
There you see the ladies running through that 5K mark. And we're getting very, very close, 600 meters, less than 600 meters away from the finish line. We're going to be coming up on that iconic Laverne Gibson straightaway as Kelati continues to push. Monson not even in the screen yet. You're starting to see a glimpse of her, but really this is Kelati's race to lose at the moment. There's Monson in clear 2nd, and not too far ahead. That might be Werner. Is that one of the Arkansas?
Izzo there.
Izzo.
For the Razorbacks. Monson still within range, but it would be an epic comeback at this point.
Kelati wincing, but she knows she's got to keep the gas on.
Are you scared or you're excited right now if you're Kelati, Sheila?
You know what? She's definitely working hard, but I love her arm carriage right now. I think she's pumping. I think she's kind of doing a long, drawn-out sprint because she doesn't want to give them that opportunity to come get her. She doesn't want to make them think that she's within shouting distance. So I feel like she's already kind of started her early sprint here, as you can see with her arms.
It was about a 6-second gap at 4K, and I don't feel like that gap is closed. I think, if anything, it's probably opened up. There is Monson right there, and Izzo behind her. So Izzo in front of her teammate Werner. Now less than 500 meters to go, 400 meters or less for Kelati, and the race will likely be for 2nd at the moment. Weini Kelati looks like she may run away with this. That move she made mid-race, it looks like she made a little bit of a test move early on and then pulled back, but then over halfway through, she made the move. And behind her, the team battle shaping up. It looks like BYU with 3 up there, possibly in the top 10, which is going to be huge for them.
Great race there with Werner and Orton going toe-to-toe. But at the front, Ryan, it's Weini Kelati.
Weini Kelati all alone here. Coming up, 19 and a half minutes on the clock. Weini Kelati answered the question today. We said, who would it be, Kelati or Monson? Who would get the best of one another? They're continuing to have battles this year, but right now, Kelati answers. She will be your NCAA champion, winning her first cross-country title unofficially in 1947. Hands in the air. What a victory for her. What a move she made that paid off. And Alicia Monson's going to move up from 4th last year to take that 2nd spot. And Izzo, what a huge run for her.
82nd last year to 3rd.
And the team's coming in behind her. Her teammate Werner. Look at these 3 from BYU. This is going to be a huge, huge finish for these ladies. Look at this, all together. Oh my gosh, 5th, 6th, and 7th place. There's Donahue from Stanford, Kurgat. They're all in the top 10.
Ellie Hines from NC State.
And here's Stanford coming in. Washington's got 2.
Roar across the line there for Notre Dame.
Furman's got one in. You got some Oklahoma State. There's another Arkansas.
That's 3 for Arkansas. There's Fiona O'Keefe for Stanford.
4 for Arkansas. Villanova, Indiana, Michigan State. Washington's got another. New Mexico's got at least 3 in. Here we go. NAU, the ladies. Michigan State's had a number of them come in. Here we go. Stanford, BYU's 5, I think, is in. 4. Stanford, I think, has all 5 in. Arkansas must have all 5 in at the moment. BYU. So team scores are coming in, and this is going to be very close. Unofficially right now, it looks like Arkansas is on the top by 6 points over BYU. BYU had 3 ladies in the top 7. That is unbelievable. So Stanford right now in the 3rd position. New Mexico unofficially in 4th. NC State unofficially in 5th. So again, these results unofficial at the moment as all the ladies come in. Right now it looks like the Razorbacks may have won their program's first NCAA title in history. We're going to send it down to the finish line. JoJo's alongside our winner, Weini Kelati.
I'm here with our ladies champion today, Weini Kelati. Congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
Thank you so much. I feel like this is unbelievable. I cannot believe still. I was like, is that right? I just feel amazing.
The last time you raced Alicia Monson in Wisconsin, she was able to put a lot of ground on you late in the race. Were you thinking about Alicia today?
I know she's a great runner, but that race wasn't my best perform. I can blame myself that week I have a lot of going on because after I ran Invitational in Notre Dame, and we decided to have a team vacation together, and then I was traveling a lot, and I did not take enough rest. I was back-to-back traveling, and I feel like that race was literally like the worst performance that I have so far. But it's good. I like being surprised and just come back stronger. It helped me to work hard, I guess, yeah.
Mentally, how did you get your mind right after that race to be able to perform today so well?
It's so hard because I know that I'm in the best shape this year. I have been working that I've never had a lifetime workout in my life because every time I get better and better. But that race kind of hurt me a little bit, and I kind of talked to myself what just happened, and I figured out that that might be not doing well with my. Running takes everything, so you gotta be raced, and you have to do your discipline. Every little counts, even the little things counts in running. So that's why I fixed it, and I work as normally I do, and then I was confident here. Even the weather was bad, I was prepared mentality, and I can do wherever the races look like.
Congratulations, Weini. A perfect race today.